Hey, everybody, this is Amazing Fantasy Football. I am Beavis, and he is.
Butthead.
Yeah, butthead. Chris, I was thinking, while we just took a little break, because I do want
Mhm.
to put this in the show, just for
Okay.
like real quick. Like, why? Like, Pete Carroll needs to get fired. Why are you trying to shoehorn a really subpar running game with subpar running backs? Chris Carson's hurt. None of these guys are as good as Chris Carson. Rashad Penny, you missed. You missed on him. You spent a first round pick. Everyone
That's
told you it was
fair.
a bad idea.
Oh, it was a first one. It's second,
Yeah,
late
it
first. Yep, yep,
was.
yep.
It was like a
It was like the
20s
last
pick.
pick or 28th or something. It was
No, no,
very
no. It
late,
was
but
in the
still.
early 20s, I think. But
Oh,
still,
okay.
but
Hmm.
still, second half of the first round, you spent a
Hmm.
pick on him. Everyone thought it was a bad idea. You still did it. He didn't. He's not a thing. Stop running the ball all the time. Do what Detroit did for the longest time with Stafford. Just use like quick little short passes, and that's your run game. Like you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Why? Fire Pete Carroll.
Why?
Bring in someone that can actually run an offense
Hmm.
for Russell Wilson. If that would happen, I bet Russell Wilson would love to stay. And also fix your freaking offensive line.
Exactly. I think Carroll's still making up for that Super Bowl call, throwing on first and goal from the 2 yard line and
Chris,
getting
that was
picked
like
off.
9 years ago or whatever. I don't even remember
I,
when it was.
it's probably not what is actually going on in Pete Carroll's brain, but I
Maybe
like
it
to
is
think that
though.
it
Maybe he's just
could
sitting
be.
there
He's an
chomping on
old
gum. He's
man.
like,
He's an old man.
shut, throwing the ball
Don't ever
or
throw.
rather than
Don't
ran the
ever
wall.
throw. Exactly.
Anyways, let's move on to the Las Vegas Raiders at the Kansas City Chiefs. Derek Carr in the previous matchup this year, Carr had 261 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. All that was good for 19.2 fantasy points. Not bad. I'm pretty happy when I'm Chris, I'm a late round QB guy, so I'm usually happy with 19 plus fantasy points from a quarterback, especially someone like Derek Carr. I like what Carr's potential is. He does have those brain farts, where he kind of forgets how to be a quarterback. I kind of like him in this matchup though. Maybe you need a fill in for Jalen Hurts. He's on bye this week. Or if you're starting Carson Wentz and for some reason Derek Carr is available in your super flex league,
Mhm.
he's not in ours. I'll go 3.5 stars for that. Um, let's skip all that kind of mumbo jumbo. Josh Jacobs, the Drake is gone, and I hate the Drake. Hate the Drake. Chris, that is a Seinfeld reference. If you didn't get it,
I didn't, but yeah.
Kenyon Drake, he suffered an season-ending ankle injury. Wow, that paves the way for what? Chris Peyton Barber.
Ew.
Dude, seriously, this is the moment we've been waiting for, folks. Josh Jacobs is going to have next to no competition as of writing this. Jalen Richard was listed as out. Sometimes that can be kind of outdated information when you look at someone's depth chart. But if Peyton Barber's Josh Jacobs only cha- uh, you know competition for touches, dude, Josh Jacobs has to be better than Peyton Barber, and this coaching staff isn't really playing for much. They're not going to be there next year. I mean, if I was the coaching staff, I'd be definitely rolling Josh Jacobs out. Like, what if you break him? Whatever, you ain't going to be there next year. Who
Maybe
cares?
they'll actually throw the ball to him for a change.
Yeah, right. Yeah, why is that never a thing? Darren Waller. I'm skipping over all the wide receivers for the Las Vegas here, but that's fine. Darren Waller, he has a chance to play. I checked before we started recording, and it sounds like he's still kind of questionable. Tune in for the Sunday morning stream here. We're gonna have check it out on our YouTube channel. We have coffee chat. Chris and I argue over subpar quarterbacks. That was last week. Last minute injury news, and you can ask us about your lineup questions too. Chris and I can also argue over whether we should have a laugh track in the show too. I told him more or less that he was a dummy last week, and I've kind of sort of warmed up to the idea. He doesn't know that until just now, but that's okay.
It's true.
That's Josh's instant reaction to everything. I hate it. You know, Meet some girl, be like, "Hey, you want to go? Back to your place?" Like, no, I hate that idea. And then the next day, I'm like, "That was a great idea. What the hell?" Patrick Mahomes. Let's go move on to the Kansas City Chiefs here. 4 stars for Patty Mahomes. It's funny how Patrick Mahomes used to be that auto forced 5 star, like just give him the fiver, move on with the
Hmm.
day,
Hmm.
and now it's like, man, they're gonna do some research. Okay.
Look at the matchup.
Um, Look at the matchup. How did he do?
Do my
What was the last time
job
they played? What was the last
that I
time
don't
that
get
the
paid
Chiefs?
for.
Last time the Chiefs faced the Raiders, it was in Las Vegas. Patrick Mahomes ripped them up, man. Over 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, no
Ooh,
interceptions. It was Mahomes' best game since week 6. I believe it was in week 10. Mahomes has been off, and I'm not really sure why, but I like him to bounce back here. I know the Chiefs' offensive line has been questionable at times this year. I still think that Mahomes is dealing with a little injury of some sort that they're maybe not quite disclosing, or that maybe he's not even disclosing too.
who knows?
I think that his weapons are starting. I wonder if the teams are starting to pick up on the Chiefs game too. Like
I was gonna say,
it was unique and great at first, and now it's become, oh, now we know what to do against this. You
right,
know,
right. I was gonna say I was gonna wait till you're done, but now that you've kind of alluded to it, I think it might have more to do with coverage on Hill, because I feel like obviously the way the quarterback goes, the way almost every single team in the NFL goes, but in particular with the Chiefs, I think the way Hill goes is the way the team and Mahomes, or at least the offense and Mahomes goes. Like, I don't have an answer to how to cover the guy or what they're doing, but I feel like that might be the issue. And then to your point, maybe he's a little banged up. Maybe Mahomes is a little banged up.
yeah.
I just don't think
Excuse me.
that type of talent just disappears or whatever the heck is going on.
No,
Anyway, go ahead.
and here's the one thing that I was wondering
Mhm.
too, and I don't want to use this as an excuse for people performing subpar at work, but you know, I'm pretty sure him and his lady, I forgive me, I don't remember if they got married, but I know they just had a baby like semi recently, so you know, maybe you know, he goes home, kid's crying in the middle of the night, he has to wake up and take care of him. He's a little tired. He's not like he was when he was like fresh into the league, when he was just him and you know, his lady. Maybe. Maybe.
Hey, you're preaching to the choir.
I
Family
know
life
you've got
messes me
kids,
up all the
man.
time.
I've seen other people that have
Yeah.
kids. I've
Mhm.
like especially with the first one, dude. It's a dead man walking around at work, you know, with the
Mhm.
first kid or woman too. I mean,
And on one hand, you would like to think
those
that the
first time parents, they're exhausted.
Amen. And on one hand, you would like to think that the wife would be like, you're a pro quarterback. You make literally $50 million a year. I'm sorry, 40, 50, whatever it is.
Average 50.
You go do work. I'll do raising of the baby.
You do you.
But the man, the father is like, I, I want to see my kid and know them when they're 3 months, 6 months, a year.
I want my
Like,
kid to know me. Yeah.
exactly. So that's all I would say about that.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to CH here. If CH was putting up better numbers or if he was a better back in general, I'd love him a lot more this week. The Raiders are giving up the 6th most points to opposing backs, but I just can't get down with CH, man. I'm giving him 2.5 stars, but I also want to say prove me wrong. Like Chris, you and I, like I think we both had him in as a top 15 back,
In the
like
offseason, at the beginning of the
pre-draft,
year. Yep.
you know.
Hmm.
And I'm glad I never had a chance at him. Like,
I really thought the receptions. Thought he obviously the injury, but I thought the receptions would help more. I thought he'd get some
but I mean,
catches,
he's just
man.
been pretty ineffective too. The Chiefs'
Hmm.
offensive line once again has not helped him either. I'm just saying, like, he's bust. He's busty. He's been busty this year. Let's move on to Tyreek Hill. I'm giving him 4 stars just because him and Patrick Mahomes are linked. And more or less, when Patrick Mahomes has 5 stars, I give Tyreek Hill 5 stars. In this case, I don't want to be lazy about it, but they're so linked to each other that
Hmm.
I just like they're tethered. That's what they are. You know who's not exactly tethered to up and down performances, although he has been kind of this year, is Travis Kelsey. I'm giving him five
Ooh,
stars
okay.
because other than your like flash forward, your guy that you're gonna say could top Travis Kelsey in any given week, I'm going to say that Travis Kelsey is out of any tight end in the league has the best chance week in and week out to be the tight end one. So 5 stars for him. Chris,
Okay.
next matchup, please.
I've got the Ravens at Browns. Lamar has struggled the last 3 weeks versus good defenses,
He really
being
has.
Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Miami, and versus those very same Browns this week, who held him to 165 yards and 4 interceptions. And that game,
Damn.
yeah, exactly. And that game was in Baltimore. And this one is in the dog pound.
Dude.
His rushing obviously keeps him in consideration every single week, but I am placing him outside the top 12 So if you have better options, strongly consider them.
Wow.
3.5 stars for Lamar.
Ballsy.
Yeah. Devontae Freeman. Apparently, he's the man. He has taken over as the clear-cut starter
No, he's
and
a
has
man
seen
in
double-digit
Baltimore.
carries every week since taking over as a starter in Week 9. Throwing an average of 4.4 targets per game in that span. That's nothing to laugh at. Now, he still loses carries and goal line looks to his quarterback, but he is a low-end RB2, high-end flex option this week for 3.5 stars. That's got me a little bit excited in the Dynasty League. I really need help to win a playoff game.
Oh, I thought you were talking about psychiatric. Okay.
Well, that too. I am seeking that. On the pass catchers, we'll just cut to the chase here. Hollywood and Andrews are the only ones worth discussing. And Hollywood hasn't scored since week 7. Cleveland is also elite versus the pass, 7th fewest passing yards, and are 10th best with 31 sacks on the year. But Hollywood's targets volume has been absolutely elite, averaging 11.2 targets per game. That's not the whole season. I did not put that in there. I think that's no, that might be whole season. Forgive me, that might be the last several weeks. I don't remember. Point is, he's getting a butt ton of targets, and that's what we're going with. But given Lamar's struggles, I'm going to give him 3.75 stars. Again, that's 3.75 stars for Hollywood.
Ooh.
Mark Andrews. He is the tight end 2 on the season. He gets tons of targets, and the offense draws up red zone and downfield plays for him. What more do you want? Oh, he also saw 10 targets and scored once versus the same Browns team 2 weeks ago. 5 stars for Mark Andrews. On to the Browns. I'm going to cut straight to the backs here, the runners. I'm not going to talk about Baker and the pass catchers. Both Hunt and Chubb struggled mightily last week versus the Ravens, their last game, which was their last game before their bye week. I expect an emphasis on the run and a bounce back for both backs. See what I did there? So I'm going to give a solid 3. I'm going to give 4 stars for Chubb and 3 for Hunt. And as I said, I'm not going to discuss any pass catchers for the Browns because they're not worth it. No offense, folks.
I'm going to very, very, very mildly disagree in the sense that you really you really need a home run, guy that could potentially score you 18 plus points at the wide receiver position. DPJ, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Mm-hmm. The Ravens secondary is extreme, especially at cornerback, is extremely depleted.
Good point to mention that. Absolutely,
extremely depleted. So it's worth a shot. I'm not saying Jarvis Landry here, but I'm saying maybe if Baker comes back from this bye week and he's a little bit healthy and he can actually chuck the ball downfield accurately to DPJ, maybe you get a couple of long bombs to him. They'll probably not going to get high volume. I wish this guy could evolve into a higher volume receiver and not just I run fast straight kind of guy. But maybe in time. It's only his second season, so hard to say. And he was also a 6th round pick too. So maybe 7th.
Gosh, I didn't.
He was a real late round pick. He was a knucklehead at Michigan, but he was good. He was just
he's
knucklehead.
Doing very well for himself. Then well, he stuck around. Let's put it that way.
He's definitely got staying power. I'm just I just want to throw the name out there. It's a deeper league, kind of desperation play. But hey, man, I'm in some leagues where I went running back heavy, and it's now hurting me
because have no at this point in the year, you don't have any wide receiver 2. You just don't.
Well, that and my wide receivers have gotten hurt, or they just haven't, or I missed on a couple, So DPJ. Worth a thought at least. Maybe just kind of oh, I see you there, DPJ. Chris, let's move on to the Dallas Cowboys at the Washington football team. Let's start with Dak here. Your boy Dak.
Rivalry game.
It is an old school Cowboys and American Indians rivalry. Yes. But that's not what they're called anymore. So it's an old school cowboy and football team rivalry.
Nation's capital football team, folks.
Nation's capital and the capital of Texas, Dallas Cowboys.
We're in Maryland.
But we're in Fort Worth.
Oh well, there,
Arlington.
Arlington is correct, actually.
Yeah,
Arlington.
yes,
I'm sorry.
Arlington.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. Yeah,
like the Rangers. Anyways, Dak, 5 stars, 5-star. I got a good feeling here, Chris. I got a good feeling. Yeah, it's a whole lot of hope, but doggone it, man. This is the get right week for the Dallas Cowboys and Dak here. Mainly just the passing game, but we'll
Right.
get to that, the running game in a second. Washington football team giving up the most points to the quarterbacks. Their passing defense has been terrible over there in DC all season, and I don't see them turning over a new leaf this week. So 5 stars for CD Lamb too, my boy. He leads the Cowboys in snap percentage, targets, receptions, yards, and touchdowns. 5 stars for CD Lamb. Amari Cooper, 4.5 stars. Amari was in on 34% of the Cowboys snaps last week. I think he was still getting over COVID and everything. He just wasn't quite right. I know that there's some people that I've talked to at work. If no one knows, I work in a large for Iowa sized hospital. And I know of some people that have gotten COVID, and a lot of them, especially the early on people that got it, they were just really like they were testing negative, but they were still just lethargic AF, as you like to say, Chris. So yeah, maybe I'm wondering if that's what happened to Amari last week, and that's why he only played on 34% of the snaps. But I'm looking for Amari to do a bit of a bounce back this week, probably a little bit healthier to resume his 1B role. Michael Gallup, I'm going to assume that he's going to, with Amari being healthy and CD being healthy, that he's going to resume his role as the wide receiver 2-3 for the Cowboys. Michael Gallup has had some good games, but I'm kind of worried that's been linked to Amari Cooper being out and CD Lamb not being 100% too at times. I seem to remember, so I'm going to give Gallup like a 2.5, 3-star sort of thing there. Like you could play him, but don't expect the world from him. I seem to remember that both the tight ends are injured, but I don't think that's quite right. Why don't you look that up?
Jarwin's out for the year. Jarwin's on IR out for the year. Don't
again?
No, still. Like it was an ACL or something.
No, again, like last year too.
Oh, that's a good point.
I
didn't even realize that. Hey, that's why Schultz is
Schultz,
the man. Come around.
Don't give your tight ends big contracts.
Really, last year.
Pro. Anyways, so as of writing this, Chris, I didn't realize that Tony Pollard had a, and we covered this earlier, but no one knows about that until now.
Editing magic.
Tony Pollard has a in the Wayback Machine or the Way Forward Machine. Tony Pollard has a torn left plantar fascia. Which is like plantar fasciitis. It's like a tendon or something in the bottom of your foot. I've been diagnosed with some plantar fasciitis. Do some stretches, it goes away. I don't think that's going to be Tony Pollard's case here, especially if it's really bad and really bad plantar fasciitis, so you sometimes need surgery for or whatever. Tony Pollard is questionable for this, but as of me writing this, I gave him 3 stars for both Zeke and Tony Pollard. There was an article I read. Forgive me, I've been riding the bus a lot to work this week, so I've had some spare time. And so I've been reading a lot of articles and everything. I didn't bother to write down the source, sorry. But Zeke apparently had an MRI this week, and it sounds like his knee injury that he was dealing with a little bit preseason is starting to heal. So, but he just hasn't been that effective in the Washington football team. While great or while crap against the passing game, is really good against the run. So that's why I'm only giving Zeke 3 stars. Maybe bump it up to like a 3.5 with Tony Pollard out. If he is out, tune back into the Sunday morning stream. On to Tatum Heineken. I'm not that into the Heineken beer. And I'm not really into the Heineken Washington football team quarterback either. But I'm going to give him 3.25 stars here. Chris, I'm not going to lie. While doing some research for Tatum Heineken, I had to look up his actual name. I've joked about him so much, I have zero idea what his real name is, and I still don't. Oh, that's right. It's Tatum Heineken. That's right. Sorry. I guess he's averaging 16.7 points per game, which not great, but also not bad. I mean, it's better than Matt Ryan. So I'm going to give him 3.75 star or 3.25 stars. Sorry, 3.25 star.
Got it.
I mean, if you're for those of you keeping track at home, Cam Newton,
3.75.
Derek Carr, Tatum Heineken as
Got it.
far as like you're a Jalen Hurts manager and you need a bye week fill in right there. Terry McLaurin, he's got some good games against the New York Giants, Atlanta Falcons, Green Bay Packers, and Carolina. The rest of them have been crap.
Mm.
Absolute crap, like less than 10 points crap, Chris. Having said all that, I I don't know, man. I have 3 stars written down. Do you want to go to war with Terry McLaurin staring down a must win, trying to get in the playoffs?
Not the way he's been hit or miss lately. It's like he plays well against bad
But
defenses and plays poorly.
4 weeks out of 12, or maybe 11 because of bye week in there. 4 out of 11.
Yeah,
That's not a good
it's not
percentage
good.
right there.
No, no, thank you.
Okay, I had it at 3 stars. I'm gonna go desperation. Like maybe you just have to because you have nothing else. You drafted him. You spent such a high
I could
pick, and you
definitely
just
see a league having him as my third receiver and just having no other choice and just nothing
yeah,
else being on the waiver.
yeah, for
It's
sure. That's
possible.
what
It's
I'm
very
saying.
possible. Mm-hmm. He's still a
Desperation,
good player. He's
desperation.
still a good player.
Two star. Okay. Chris, what's your next matchup, man?
I've got the Jaguars at the Titans. Let's push straight
The
to the
James
point.
Robinsons
The
versus
Jacksonville James Robinsons versus the Tennessee Tannehill. No, I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, James Robinson,
Ew.
like he's all they've got.
The
And I'll
Tennessee
tell you this much
Tannehill.
here in a second. Robinson is dealing with a knee and heel injuries, but the Jags have managed that most of the season to this point. However, Robinson has been benched lately for fumbling issues. His quarterback, Trevor
Jambalaya.
Lawrence, stated plainly that Robinson is their best offensive player and he needs to be on the field. The Titans are flat out good versus the run, though. They have given up 100 rushing yards only 3 times this season. Week 1 to arguably the best team in the league, the Cardinals. Last week versus the Patriots. And week 5 versus these very same Titans. Robinson went off for 149 rushing yards and a score. I foresee Robinson not being benched for his fumbling issues, and if he is healthy enough, you start him, period. 4 stars, and I'm going to bench the rest of the Jaguars. The only one worth mentioning here is the fact that I believe it's Jamar Agnew was put on our season-ending hip surgery. He was kind of coming on
Jimmy
a little bit.
Agnew.
Jimmy. Joseph Jehoshaphat. Anyway.
That's not even close.
No, No, did you look it up? You're
What?
playing with me, right? It's not Jimmy, is it?
No, it's
Okay,
Jamal,
good.
dude.
You had me going for a second. On to the Titans.
God, I hope it's Jamal.
As
I'm
kind
now
of
second-guessing
touched on
myself.
a second ago, I'm going to completely gloss over Tannehill. My apologies if you kind of got him and locked in on a super flex. I just don't have much for him because he has not been good lately.
Who's that?
Really, it's Ryan Tannehill. Really, the Titans.
It is Jamal.
It is Jamal. Okay. Running backs. Pretty sure I have never seen a team lose a game in which they rush for over 250 yards. And that is exactly what the Titans did 2 weeks ago.
It was last week.
The Patriots. Yeah, exactly. 2 weeks ago versus the Patriots.
Or 2 weeks, sorry.
It was actually 270 yards, so that's worth mentioning. That's 20 yards difference. It's just 50 is a nice kind of round. That's
Get
actually
on
not
with
round.
it.
Dontre Hilliard, running back for the Titans, is averaging 108 total yards and a half a touchdown over the last 2 weeks. But in the last game, the rushing explosion also included Deonta. Pardon me.
Deonta?
But in the last game, the rushing explosions actually included Deonta Foreman also, who had his own big day with 109 rushing yards. Not the biggest fantasy day, just below double digits with like 9-something points. The Jags have been good versus run also, giving up only 3.9 yards per carry to running backs, the 7th best in the league. But they're middle of the pack in some of the other running statistics, such as fantasy points to the position and rushing yards given up. Derrick Henry had a great game when these two teams played earlier in the year. To muddy the waters even further, Jeremy McNichols is back from his concussion. I think Deonta Foreman keeps his role as the bigger goal line / short yardage back. McNichols gets his role back. I think the team trusts him more, and it's not like he was out with a hamstring or knee issue, so it was a concussion, so he's 100%. I think they trust him in pass blocking, and Hilliard's a rookie as far as I know, so I just think the nod is going to go back to McNichols. But Hilliard's performance is very tough to ignore versus a great Patriots defense. The best play is to stay away from them if you have better options, but that's not always the case. I'm going to give Foreman the nod here because of the touchdown potential. 2.5 stars for Foreman. Bench the rest unless we hear that Hilliard is going to get more work again or that McNichols is something else is going on with him. But yeah, I'm going to go with that. Really, pass catchers, nothing worth talking about here with the Tennessee Titans. A.J. Brown is not eligible to return from IR until at least next week. Nick Westbrook Inhine has come on lately and is worth a look in Dynasty and deeper formats, but that's about it.
What about Julio Jones, Chris?
Julio Jones wasn't good when he was healthy, but I do hear he's slated to come back soon. If not this week, next maybe. Hey, with A.J. Brown on IR, and heck, last time I checked, they had 8 wins, so they're still playing for something. It's just
so riding off that early season, somehow they were scoring points. Oh, that's right. It was Derrick Henry.
It was Derrick Henry. Yeah, it was not Tannehill, much to my chagrin. Ugh, wait.
Oh, much to my chagrin, it was.
There you go. Much to your chagrin, exactly. I was Mr. Tannehill. Anyway, that's my. I
thought he was Mr. Tannehill.
Yeah, apparently he's Mrs. No, that's sexist. I'm sorry.
That's not. Let's not go down that road, dude.
Continue.
Are we done?
Yep.
I believe we're on to the Las Vegas Giants. What the new? Wow, dude.
The new Vegas.
I'm getting
New York
Turds. getting a turd. New York Giants at the Los Angeles Chargers, which always makes me, when I see the LAC, it always makes me think of the Clippers, but that's fine.
Me too. Me too. Every time.
Yeah, every time. I'm like, oh,
I'll get used to it.
Wait,
but every
no,
time.
it's football. Let's talk about Jake Fromm here real quick. Chris, do you remember Jake Fromm? You remember who he is?
Is he still a rookie? A quarterback, Georgia.
Not rookie anymore. It's
with
his
Fields,
second year.
Played with
okay,
Justin Fields.
So here's you were correct. He is the quarterback from Georgia. I really liked Jake Fromm when he was at Georgia. I thought like maybe he had potential in the NFL. I didn't realize he wasn't the strongest arm person in the world. Yeah. But that was like in the draft last year. Yeah, last year in 2020.
Oh, last, yeah.
So I pulled a little blurb here on Jake Fromm here from the Yahoo Sports, like his player profile.
Literally on Yahoo Fantasy app.
Yeah, the Yahoo Fantasy app. Pulled, and this is a quote from it. Mike Glennon was diagnosed with a brain injury following the week, which, man, that sucks for you, Mike Glennon. Just quick side there. Following the Giants' Week 13 loss to the Dolphins, and Daniel Jones hasn't been cleared for contact with a neck strain that could sideline him for several weeks. That leaves Jake Fromm, who has yet to complete an NFL pass after being drafted with the 167th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft as the team's presumed starter. They're talking about the Giants there. The Giants signed Fromm off the Bills' practice squad last week. Here's where it gets really terrible. The last we heard from Fromm, he was caught sending racist text messages and apologizing to teammates and fans for his discretions. 1 star for this sack of turds. I'm sorry. I am not down with that at all. Like, no.
I mean, I'm not saying cut a guy for. I'm not saying cut a guy outright for some transgression, but really, where do you think his future's heading? Given his talent in the field and given his apparent lack of respect for human beings. Just whatever. Forget.
If you want to play sports but not with with like I guess only white people, Jake Fromm, go play curling in Norway. You know, like I'm sorry, like that sort of thing.
Piece of garbage.
It really pisses me off.
It does.
Let's move on to Saquon Barkley, a guy who we both really really love. But unfortunately,
who's kind of pissing us off, but he's a great human being as far as I know.
Yeah, I mean, he's not pissing me off. He's just letting me down, and it's more like not necessarily Saquon's been letting me down. It's just the team around him has been letting me down, and the injury too. But still, 2 3/4 stars for Saquon with the third string quarterback at the helm, and it's really hard to get on board with Saquon here. I mean, when you and like a lot of their receiving weapons are injured too. It's like maybe Kenny Golladay and then Evan Ingram, and that's about it. So I'm not in love with Saquon here, or I'm kind of falling out of love with him in general until he gets either to a better team or a team that's actually going to bother creating holes and protecting their quarterback. If they do decide to stick with Daniel Jones. Let's move along to the better team in this matchup here, and that is the Chargers. And we'll start with the quarterback here. Over the last 6 weeks, Herbie has scored 21 plus fantasy points. In four of those 6 weeks, he's been good. But I see two potential problems here. A, perhaps the Chargers get up so big early that he doesn't have to do much. That hasn't really been the Chargers' modus operandi this year. They've won like every game that they've been in is like a 10-point gap. Whether win or lose, within 10 points.
And they're playing for their season because the AFC West is so close.
It really is, actually.
Mm-hmm.
My other potential problem is Jake Fromm. Perhaps he turns the ball over and gives the Chargers such good field position. It's Austin Eckler, or it's even if they get up big, why roll out Austin Eckler there and just like roll out Larry Roundtree, no D. Move on to Austin Eckler here. 4.25 stars for awesome Austin, is as I just started calling him. It doesn't really roll off the tongue like I wanted it to, but all right. Austin Eckler, he's been ripping it this season, man. Like, I'm giving him 4.25 stars. The Giants are giving up 19.6 points per game to the running backs. That's good. Not elite or not terrible, but not great either. According to lineups.com, awesome Austin, still not nothing.
How about the low hanging fruit, sir? Amazing Austin Eckler.
Dang
it.
Sorry.
It's okay. I can't make you like it. I can't make you like it.
Anyways. According to lineups.com, Eckler is getting the 5th most snaps for his respective teams out of all running backs in football. That'll definitely get you to the RB2 on the season so far. So, 4.25 stars for Austin Eckler. Keenan Allen, as of Monday, Keenan Allen is put on the COVID list. Keenan Allen has a shot at playing this week, but he needs one of them back-to-back negative tests within 24 hours to be eligible to play. Tune back in for Sunday on that one. Mike Williams, I have 4.25 stars for Mike Williams. If Keenan Allen can't make this game, Mike Williams usually thrives when Steady Eddie isn't out there to compete for the eye of Herbie. But Mike Williams has also been placed on the COVID list too, Chris.
Oh, Mike Williams. Yep.
It was just an exposure. I wrote that and then I updated it before we started recording. Mike Williams was just exposed to Keenan Allen, but he's not vaccinated. So, how are these guys playing without being vaccinated? I don't get it. Whatever. Mm-hmm. If neither one of these guys can go, Jalen Guyton, anyone? Yeah. I like it. He had a pretty good game last week. I didn't write down a lot. I would also look for Jared Cook to be and one league. I really want neither one of these guys to play because I have Jared Cook. So that's kind of good for Cook, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I did see something about Williams could still play because it was just a close contact thing. It wasn't like
it was close contact, but he's not vaccinated.
But he's
so
unvaccinated.
He has to wait 5 days. And he was put on the COVID list, I think, on Tuesday. So that puts him like really up in the air.
And of course, you need to produce negative tests, I assume. Anyway,
well, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. On to the Lions at Broncos. The offensive coordinator for the Lions says he plans to get Goff more deep shots. Don't care. Bench rating. On to the running backs. So we just kind of looked at it not too long ago. I feel like DeAndre Swift is probably not going to play.
I'm going to flip a coin and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I had a tweet pulled up for that earlier. Don't have nothing now. It doesn't make a difference.
Hey, Chris, real quick.
Yep.
Did you ever watch the Batman animated series?
In the 90s, of course.
So do you remember?
Been a long time.
Do you remember when there was a time when Two-Face like flipped his coin and it landed on an edge and he went insane? That would be what happens when like even more insane. That would be what happens if I flipped a coin. It would say like, is DeAndre Swift going to play? And then it lands on its edge, and I'm like, no.
Literally rips his hair out. Oh, wait.
Too late.
Sorry.
That's what happened. I'm not genetically going bald. I just ripped all my hair out.
It's one of the few opportunities I get to make fun of. We should rename the podcast to Bald Guys. Just kidding. Anyway.
And then it would be like, everyone would be like, that's just every other.
Every other
Super Bowl.
bald, bald guy with a beard, for God's sakes. It's 2021. Ugh.
I
Anyway.
know. I'm such a stereotype. A fat bald guy with a beard.
We used to not be, though. I say we. I'm not necessarily overweight, but I'm just saying. Anyway, before we go off
I
the
used to
rails
be
even
all of
further.
those. I used to be all of not those things. I used to be slim with hair and not a beard.
Yeah, exactly.
For
Yeah,
reals.
I never.
It's a real thing.
I used to not have a huge beard. Anyway, on to the running backs for the Detroit Lions. I get the strong impression that Swift is going to be out. I think it's a shoulder dislocation or rotator cuff. Forgive me, I don't
AC
recall.
joint, I believe.
Thank you very much. That's exactly what I needed to hear. So AC joint, not the end of the world, but it wouldn't surprise me if he missed another week. Why
Also,
would
not
they
the
need to
beginning
rush
of the world either.
Yeah, right. Why would they need to rush back their best player? I mean, although I think the world of Hawkinson, but hey, Swift has been pretty awesome. So I'm just going to not give Swift a rating. I think he's going to be out. It's not guaranteed. Tune in Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll give you some injury insight along with starting lineup insight.
I believe he means Central Daylight Savings Time. Just saying.
Yeah, exactly what he said. On to Jamal Williams. In real life NFL, played admirably. 17 carries, 71 yards, 4.2 per carry.
Admirably?
Admirably? He's not piloting a ship, sir. So one target, nothing to write home about. The thing I like to focus on here is, there's a chance they might have to throw a little bit. And I hope he gets more targets. I feel like he's even more than a serviceable receiver. I feel like he's a good receiver. The week before, in week 12 versus Chicago, also in with no Swift, I believe, 15 carries, 65 yards, 4.3 per carry, and 5 targets. Very similar fantasy outcome, but I feel much better about that stat line with those 5 targets. Obviously, a touchdown makes the world of difference. Still, I don't think you can clearly make him an RB2. Let's put him in the flex conversation with 3 stars. Benching DeAndre Swift. On to the only other worthy offensive weapon for the Lions to talk about in TJ Hawkinson. Hawkinson, has disappointed in terms of what we expected. Doesn't mean he's not still a top 12 tight end most weeks. It feels weird that I have to put that hesitation on it.
Interesting.
But he's coming off a couple of pretty good games the last couple of weeks with, of course, a touchdown in week 12 and week 13, right at double-digit fantasy points. 8 targets last week was much better, but he only caught half of those. This is, a Jared Goff problem as much as it is a Detroit team problem and a Hawkinson problem. But nonetheless, it's really hard to find tight ends out there. I'm going to give Hawkinson 2.75 stars because I'm upset with him. For lack of a better way.
Well, he's upset with you, so whatever, man.
Yeah,
I have no idea what you've been talking about because I was looking up what exactly a Commodore was.
A Commodore.
And I'm not talking about the singing group either. Chris, all I want to know is can I rely on Javonte Williams again this week?
I was just going to say, let's cut to the chase here. No, kinda is the answer to your question. What I
That's
mean
not
by
an
that,
answer. That's 2 answers that contradict each other.
That's literally, I'm riding the fence so hard it's going up my butt crack. Anyway,
Heyo.
Mr. Why is there an advertisement? Why? Oh my God, are you serious right now?
Mr. Williams?
Mr. Devontae Williams carried the ball 23 times for 102 yards, 4.4 per
I believe
carry.
you mean Javonte.
What did I say, Javonta?
You said Devonte.
Ooh, did I really? I'm redoing
Ha! See, it happened to you too.
It did.
I bet you're not ready to fight me over it though.
It was a slip of the tongue. You're right. Anyway, Mr. Javonte, I think I did say Javonte. I just said it fast. Anyway, Mr. Javonte Williams carried the ball 23 times for 102 yards, 4.4 per carry. But the big stat there for me is 9 targets, and he caught a touchdown. I honestly think, big picture, this is what is going to make Javonte Williams the Denver back of choice for the next, hopefully, several years, but probably more like few years. I think it's just a matter of time before Gordon is out of town. But we're not worried about big picture. We're worried about this week to get into the playoffs.
We're worried about the finite picture.
Exactly. And Mr. Gordon is probably back. Let me read here for you.
It sounds like he's going to come back this week.
Yeah, it's a hip and a
But
shoulder, so there's 2 injuries there. But he said, "I feel like I'll be able to go on Sunday against the Lions." Is his quote? Gordon said he was close to playing last week. That's the thing that gets me there. He was close to playing last week, which means he's a shoo-in for this week. Let's call it a done deal. Now the question becomes: did Javonte do enough to warrant, if
yes,
not at least more work, stealing the job outright? I think he did. Yeah, it anyway. It's the Lions. What more do you want, man? It's a smash play for Javonte Williams as far as I'm concerned, but you have to keep Gordon in consideration. As I said, he will play. I hate to be the guy that says they're going to do something different than they've done all year, but I'll give the coach the benefit of the doubt. He likes to run the ball. He likes to possess the ball. He's a defensive coach. I'm going to give Javonte 3.5 stars. I'm going to give Gordon 2.5 to make a definite separation there. Let's move on to Noah Fant and his sorry butt. But I do want to talk about it a little bit because tight ends are hard to come by. And
he's just like the rest of them, man.
player.
He's doing next to nothing.
Yeah, he is. I'm going to bench him.
Okay.
I wanted to see the
numbers. What's the difference between Noah Fant and Jared Cook at this point? Like, not much.
Cook is going to get more.
We're in a tight end desert right now.
I mean, Cook will get more red zone opportunities. That's my answer.
Yeah, maybe. Hard to say.
Yeah, I mean,
I got to say something here.
Detroit is middle of the road. They're 13th fewest points versus tight ends. Yeah, I think I'm just going to bench them. I think at this point of year, the teams that are vying for the playoffs probably have better options. Bench rating for Noah Fant, and that is
maybe
my matchup, sir.
All right, whatever.
You don't like it?
Here's what I got to say. Denver right now, they're 6-6. The Chiefs are leading the division right now, and they're 8-4. Right?
Only 2 games. Okay. Yep.
Does Melvin Gordon? And here's what you have to do as the Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio has to do. Like, if you want to be a legitimate playoff contender right now, you need your best guy out there. Is Melvin Gordon really your best guy?
Nope, he's not.
Why are you rolling him? Why are you giving? Why is this a 50-50 split after what happened? What Javonte Williams did last week?
Agreed. I think my 3.5 stars is because of trepidation. I agree with you. I think as a coach and a personnel manager,
and it's the Lions. Why even let Teddy Bridgewater throw the ball? I don't want to even touch these Denver wide receivers. They're terrible because Teddy Bridgewater has been terrible. Or at least, or at best, he's spreading the ball around so much, but he's getting so low volume that I don't want to touch these guys.
Yeah.
Like, I dropped Cortland Sutton in a league.
Yeah, he's not.
The guy just got the guy just got an extension on his contract. And like a decent sized one too.
Bridgewater was a placeholder. Bridgewater was a placeholder because they knew what they had in Drew Lock. That's what it comes down to. You notice the only time Drew Lock played was when Teddy was legitimately hurt.
Yeah, I know. I know.
That wasn't the case last year. Yeah, exactly. So, and the same thing goes for Fant. They seem back when
Noah Fant is better than the numbers that he's putting up. He has to be.
Remember when Peyton took over the Broncos? Similar to when Brady took over the Bucks, they looked at the roster, they looked at the team, and they said, "You're a quarterback away. And more so in Peyton's instance because he played so badly, but was a veteran, managed the game well enough to win."
No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Peyton at one point had the most
to get the
passing touchdowns.
Right, to get the championship, he was awful that year. He was bad. We all know that.
But the year before that, he was great.
He threw 50 freaking touchdowns. Yeah, exactly. So
he wasn't the Peyton Manning of old, but he was a different player from beginning to end of his career. Definitely a different player.
And moreover, that team was a quarterback away from a championship, almost. Period.
I'm not going to say that this Denver Broncos team is that, but
no,
they might start thinking. They might want to start thinking that they are.
Because I don't think their defense. Yes, they got rid of Von Miller, but I think their defense is still pretty darn good. And we love Javonte. And hey, Sutton is probably a number one.
Or a 1B to Jerry Jeudy. and you have Noah Fant there.
Good point.
You maybe need
Good
to beef
point.
up your offensive line a little bit. If you
More
can
than being
get
a
away
1B, I think
with
they're complementary receiver duo. Judy being the route running separation specialist and Sutton being the jump ball guy.
the jump ball kind of deep threat, I guess.
Hey, you can
Question
be a
mark.
deep. You
I
can
think we're
be a
going a
deep
little bit
threat.
too long on this
You're
matchup,
right.
Chris.
You're right. This
I
is
think we
not
need
worth
to.
it.
I think we need to move on, man.
I think it's because it was
we need to
so
move on.
short. I think it's because it was so short. I wouldn't talk about. Yes, but we're done. Go ahead.
I think it's just because we've been having some drinks. Anyways, let's move along to the San Francisco 49ers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Jimmy G here, he's averaging 16 points per game, like flat, I think. And the Bengals are giving up 17 points per game to quarterbacks. I'd rather not start Jimmy Garoppolo here.
Agreed.
If you have better options, and
Mhm.
if I needed a quarterback to help me boost my team to a win, trying to get in the playoffs, I'd rather hang my hat on Derek Carr or Cam Newton.
Right.
So I'm going to
So
go
say if you're
3
an
stars to Jimmy G. And so
analyzation.
now if you're still keeping track of this hierarchy, it's Cam Newton, Derek Carr, Tatum Heineken, and now Jimmy G.
So is Jimmy G like 14, like below the 12? Before
Yes.
QB1? Yeah. Okay.
Elijah Mitchell here. He's questionable. He has with a concussion, but now apparently he's having some knee problems. Which makes him man. I mean, he went from questionable to he's still not listed as doubtful as of recording this on Thursday night, but sounds like he's not going to play. And JaMychal
Killing me,
Hasty
Smalls.
is currently the only healthy back on the roster. What were you going to say, Chris?
You're killing me. I need Mitchell this week.
Dude, I do too, man.
I think like there's a lot of teams like us out there right now. He's been a good player. He's a very, very good player.
He's been very good. He doesn't do a lot through the air, but he hasn't really been asked to either. So it's
that's the
kind of hard to
Niners.
say how good he is at that or not. Let's move on to Debo real quick. He's expected to miss this week.
Yeah, I think he's
It
gonna
sounds
miss, yeah.
like that was kind of expected. I just wanted to do a quick check in on Debo there. Brandon Ayuk, 3.25 stars last week. Ayuk was supposed to be like a slam dunk play with Debo out. I'm glad I didn't have the option to play him because
I
I
felt
probably would
differently,
have.
but yeah,
He
I hear
ended
you.
up with. I'm sorry, what?
I felt differently about Ayuk, but I hear you. It was generally
No,
considered
you were right. You're right.
decent play.
You're absolutely right. But the thing that you were wrong about last week too, and we'll dip back into Ayuk here real quick. The thing you were wrong about last week is that you were also off on Kittle, and Kittle went
Yep.
off. He
Oh my god,
exploded.
I was way wrong. Go
But
ahead,
let's
sir.
circle back to Ayuk here real quick. He had 3 catches for 55 scoreless yards last week. Pass on Ayuk this week. It could be an Ayuk game. It really could. I'm just not enamored with the games that he was supposedly really good and everyone fell in love with him. They weren't that great. They were like maybe 15 points at best.
I feel like there were
They
also
weren't elite
manufactured
games.
touches in those games, like they like to do with both.
Yeah. They
Ayuk.
were doing with him last year. The Deebo Samuel, but they weren't. That didn't really work out so well last week. Let's move along to George Kittle here, though. He is definitely the guy that saw the bennies of Deebo being out last week. I like him to do the same again this week. I'm giving him 4.25 stars. It's not 5 because
he's not a Travis Kelce.
It's not 5 because of the potential of it not being like last week and it being an Ayuk game. That's the only reason.
Okay.
Let's move along to Joey Bagels. Chris, is it time to ditch Joey Bagels? I don't even know where it came from, man. I really don't.
The name?
I think I just made
I
it
like
up.
it though. No, I think you did last week, but regardless, I think that's one of our better.
All right,
nicknames.
well, Joey Bagels stays. I like
nicknames.
Joey Bagels. I like the nickname, and I like Joey Bagels this week. I
love.
I'm in like with him, but not in love. The 49ers are only allowing 18.1 passing or points per game to quarterbacks, which is better than some of the other teams that I've covered so far this week. But Joe Burrow Joey Bagels hasn't had a multi-touchdown game since week 8. But those first 8 weeks though were all multi-touchdown games. Mr. Bagels, I like Mr. Bagels to score a couple of touchdowns this week, so 3.75 stars. That is assuming that he's okay. He did dislocate his right pinky finger. I'm not sure how much that would affect him, but I don't know how much it would affect me. But damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a quarterback. So, and you know what I'm a doctor of?
No, I
I'm a
think you get
doctor
that.
of love.
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 Should have seen
Anyways,
that coming from left
three and
field.
three quarter stars for Joey Bagels until we get some further news about how much his finger's affecting him. Joe Mixon, he's dealing with a neck injury. It sounds like he's good to go, though. Like, it's just more of a precautionary thing in practice or whatever. I mean, dude, I've had a neck injury for like 3 weeks. I'm also not playing running back in the NFL, though. But if anyone wants to call me to do so, I will certainly take the punishment.
I'll take the league
Yep.
minimum to go out
Hell
there
yeah.
and
Dude, I'll take
destroy
half
my
the league minimum
body.
to go out there and put my body through it.
2 plays.
4 stars.
Severed spine.
Dude, I would
Daughters,
scab it
college
up to
education
be.
paid
I would
for.
scab it up in a strike year to make half the league minimum. Anyways,
Hey, this
let's
in
move
baseball.
on to Tiggins. He's got an ankle injury.
Shots.
Tiggins, the initial reports
Oh,
are
he played well.
What?
He played great last week. Mixon played horribly. Played bad.
Who did?
I thought Mixon did not have a good game, and Higgins played amazing.
Yeah, but Tiggins has got an ankle injury this week. It sounds like he's going to play.
My apologies.
So I'm going to give him hesitant 4 stars. I'm sorry, 3.5 stars. Whereas Jamar Chase, I'm going to give Jamar Chase 3 stars. I have a feeling that that Chase is going to get back on the horse this week, but I'm not going to count on a gut feeling, so I'm just going to give him the 3 stars. I don't like it, man. I like Jamar Chase. He started out the year hot, but Tiggins came on, and with Joey Bagels having that finger problem, I don't know, man. It's enough to just drive it down.
Honestly,
a little bit.
I would make 2 quick comments. Number 1 on the finger, to your hilarious comment about being a quarterback or a player of love or whatever the heck it was.
I'm sorry.
I don't
that
play
is
much
a doctor of love.
A doctor of love. Sorry, I don't play much lately, but I like to play basketball, and it's a different sport. I get it. Again, I preface this by saying I don't know what I'm talking about, but like when I shoot a basketball, it's coming off these last 2 fingers, my 2 longest fingers. Okay, technically the ring finger's longer, but it's coming off these 2 fingers. And so to me, if you're throwing a football, and he's probably a bigger handed gentleman than I don't think a pinky's going to affect the thing.
I don't think so either.
Like Russell Wilson,
like he had that
Russell
injury
Wilson
last
and
week. That's called an index finger.
Oh, did he? Okay. No, I'm saying Russell Wilson and somebody else had it on
middle
their
finger.
Thank you. I couldn't remember if it was ring or middle. And the other, thank you, Taysom. Taysom can't throw healthy, so who are we kidding? But so I don't think it will affect him. What worries me more is the Cincinnati run heavy game plan. Continuous.
So what I was going to say is that it did look like it was kind of affecting him last week after it happened, but he's had a whole week to get used to not using probably the least important finger in your hand. The pinky is important at times, but it is probably the least important finger on your hand. I think it was Troy Aikman
Agreed.
during that game was talking about like, oh, it really affects how you grip the ball and everything. I'm like, yeah, but
Troy was never the best grip thrower ever. He was not a good bad weather quarterback.
But no. I'm just like, dude, he's had a whole week to get used to it. I can throw. I bet I could throw. Like if I was a professional quarterback, I could throw with my pinky pointing out because it's in a splint or something. You know. I'm pretty sure I
don't know how
could.
tall he is, but he's got bigger hands than your eye. I don't know how tall he is, but he's got bigger hands.
Oh
than
no,
I
got some big old. Anyways, I can't use that
some
phrase
meat grippers
on this podcast.
Oh, that came out wrong. Oh God, let's edit that out.
Anyways, Chris, I believe you have one more matchup. I have one more matchup. My last one is super quick, so make yours. At least try and make yours quick.
Cheers to that. I shall do that, sir. The Buffalo Bills at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I'm just messing with you. It is.
No, you really got me, sir.
Really good.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm getting people at work all the time, and they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm just messing with you."
Well,
they're like, "What? No."
It's not unheard of me to make number 1 make mistakes. Number 2, scroll down too far on the document. I was like,
"No, I got you, man. Keep going, man."
You seriously got me. Yeah. Let me rewind this real quick. On to the Bills at Bucks. The Buffalo Bills. I'll save the quarterback for last. I'm going to bench both running backs. I honestly don't think I need much of a.
And by both, do you mean Breida and Singletary? Okay, yeah.
Exactly. Although, I'm sorry, is it Jeff Wilson?
Zach Moss.
Or is that the San Francisco? No, the third
Zach
guy.
Moss.
Breida. Breida at Buffalo. Last week was like one carry and maybe a target. So as soon as like both the other guys, Singletary and Moss, were healthy, Breida took a back seat. But nonetheless, your comment is still valid. It's very hard to figure out. Neither of them are producing much.
No, they're not good.
In
Just stay
fantasy
away.
terms.
Stay away.
So I'm benching them. I'm benching them both. Exactly. So let's move on to Diggs. Coming into last week's game versus the Patriots, Diggs had caught 4 touchdowns in his last 3 weeks. Let me repeat that. Coming into last week's game, because he didn't catch any last week.
We'll
get to
you
that
dig
later.
it?
But he had caught 4 touchdowns in his previous 3 games. And last week's game was an absolute mess due to high winds. That is to say, Diggs was reasonably hot coming into the game, and I am throwing out this past performance due to the wind.
For sure.
Though it wasn't an awful performance. Tampa has shored up their pass defense more as the year has gone on, where they were pretty darn bad in the beginning of the year. They are now 19th best in passing yards and 9th best in fantasy points given up to wide receivers. This is a big game, and I expect Diggs' recent success to continue here. A pretty aggressive 4.5 stars.
Wow.
On to Dawson Knox. I swear 2 weeks ago when I made the comment in Discord, I believe it was, about having Knox in 3 out of my 4 leagues, I could have sworn I saw him catch a 3rd touchdown. So that's why I put that comment. I was like, OMG, 3 touchdowns? Either I watched a replay of a highlight or something, or something was called.
Blame the mushrooms, but that's okay.
3 touchdowns! Hallucinations! He, of course, had an awful game last week due to the wind. We've already touched on that. And maybe the Patriots' game plan. I feel like they might have tried to take him out of the game plan a little bit more, maybe even more than Diggs. Nonetheless, he has been a godsend at tight end for many teams, including 3 of my teams, as aforementioned. He is the tight end 10 on the season despite missing significant time. He is a shoo-in for 5 or 6 targets, good yardage totals, and the much sought-after red zone tight end targets. I don't need to tell you to start him with the other tight end options out there. The Bucs just held Kyle Pitts to 4 catches and 6.8 fantasy points.
That's not saying much.
Gave up a big day to Jack frickin' Doyle.
Jack Doyle is an amazing tight end.
He is a quarter of the tight end Pitts is. I said it. Knox gets 4.5 stars this week. On to the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. Again, last week, very windy, if I haven't mentioned that already. But coming into the contest, Allen had thrown 7 picks over 4 games. But his fantasy performances have been fine. He stands a chance to bounce back in this one since Tampa is riddled with injuries to their secondary.
Sorry, I'm watching this. I'm watching this video on
the game.
Rutgers just did a third court shot to take down number 1 Purdue. My bad.
Meaning
keep going.
3/3, 3/4 of the show. Yeah. Anyway,
no, third
where
court.
Was I? I think I got the stars in there for Mr.
You did. I'm sorry.
Did I? Okay, because then I'll continue on. On to the Buccaneers.
The Buccaneers.
Tom the Goat. The Tampa
Bay
the Goat
Buccaneers.
Brady. Okay. Time to eat a very healthy helping of crow here. I fell victim to recency bias and gave Brady was it a bench grade or some ridiculously low rating last week?
You mean 0 stars?
But I was
he always deserves?
Yeah. Well, he didn't deserve it.
No, he always deserves 0 stars.
My bad. He balled out. We know Buffalo has an elite defense, so it's very important to bring that up in this matchup, especially a pass defense. First in passing yards surrendered and first in fantasy points given up to the quarterback position. But they lost Tre'Davious White to a season-ending ACL tear.
Fact.
Now, Brady did struggle the week prior versus the Colts. Another good defense. I imagine there are plenty of teams relying on Brady. He struggled for like 3 quarters to that game. That's why, well... Oh, no, the week before last. Oh, you're talking about the Colts game? Okay. Still, I think his final stat line was underwhelming for fantasy purposes, and that's what we care about. But I feel like there's plenty of teams relying on Brady at this time of year. And when I say relying, I mean like they may not have another quarterback on their roster, 10, 12 team league, single quarterback. Who knows? He should be fine in a big game versus an old rival who he's played. I mean, how long was he there? 20 years? He's played him 40 times, minus
Who's
the
that?
playoffs, which who am I kidding? Tom Brady played the Buffalo Bills, and when he was with New
Yeah, but that
England.
doesn't count
And he
because like
played
the Bills were garbage for
I was going to say he's probably played him
19
40
of
times
those
in the
20
regular season.
years.
That's excluding the playoffs, but we all know Buffalo was not making the playoffs until that last couple of years.
When they
in
had
New England.
quarterbacks such as EJ Manuel and running backs such as CJ Spiller and guys like
What year is this for Josh Allen? He's still on his rookie contract, right?
no, I
I
believe they
think
just gave him an
next year's. I think
extension.
did
I think
they?
so.
I would have heard about that. Okay, that's
Well,
possible. I missed it. I'm going to say he's got another year left on his rookie contract. My point is, I thought they had a
oh yeah,
playoff year with
you're on
9
rookie
wins
contract, but still
before
extension.
Josh. That's fair. I thought, which means that he's going to have to serve his 4th year. Anyway, my point is, I think I think Buffalo made the playoffs in the division with Tom Brady with 9 wins before Josh Allen got there. That's really
Get on with it, Chris.
much here. Yes, I'm trying. I lost my train of thought.
Did you just die? What's going on here?
No, I'm just trying to remember where I
No.
was. Did I get Brady's rating yet?
I believe you gave him a 0-star rating, Chris, because that's what Tom Brady always gets on this show. Oh, you're completely lost,
I
aren't you?
imagine there are plenty of teams relying on Brady at this time of year. Like they may literally not have another starter. And he should be fine in a big game versus an old rival.
Huh.
I'm going to give him 3.5 stars and see if I mess up again.
Yeah, Josh Allen, 6-year, $258 million extension as of August 11th.
Wow, that was in the offseason. My bad. That's kind of why I forgot about it. On to Lenny Fournette. He has been flat out good.
Propelling my dynasty team to like destined for the playoffs, dude.
For real. The Hall of Famer Leonard Fournette. No, I'm just kidding. He is on a 2-game scoring streak. His receiving work, though, is really what has helped him separate himself from flex consideration most weeks into more of an RB2. Buffalo is good versus the run. 7th fewest fantasy points to the running back position, 11th best in rushing yards. Still, Lenny will get enough looks, and Buffalo has given up big days to both Damon Harris and Jonathan Taylor. I'm going to give 4 stars to Leonard Fournette this week. I have finally come around.
I think I'm sorry to interrupt you real quick, but I believe that the Bills are giving up the least amount of fantasy points to the running back, though, despite those big games from JT and the other guy you just said. I have a listening problem.
They are. Maybe? We'll look into it later.
Pretty sure they are.
Can't figure it out right now.
Give you an answer.
Wide receiver duo. Godwin exploded last week and continues to rack up the targets, receptions, and yards, while Evans has 10 touchdowns on the year. Buffalo is elite, as mentioned, but I expect this to be a high-scoring affair, and Tampa will have to throw a bunch, as evidenced by the 53.5-point over-under. So I'm going to give 4 stars to Godwin for the volume and 3.75 stars for Evans for the potential for touchdowns, or a touchdown.
All right, I was thinking of quarterback,
Gronkowski.
My bad.
Robert Gronkowski. That's my new nickname for Gronk because everybody calls him Gronk. Robert Gronkowski is back, and he is
call him Robbie G.
And getting open. Robbie G. No, I feel like it's too much like Joey Bagels. The whole yeah, no. He's already got a nickname.
What about what about Bob G?
What about Big Shot Bob? No, that's taken.
I don't like that.
Bobby G. It's Bobby G. Bobby G is back, and he is getting open down the field. He is averaging 8.33. That has to be targets. He is averaging 8.33 targets since returning from broken ribs. He is healthy. He plays tight end, and you start him. 5 stars. I'm going to go on a limb and say he's the tight end. He is the tight end one. Oh,
I
what?
disagree, but fine,
I'd
whatever.
literally give like 2 5
I
stars
get
ratings.
your point.
I know. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and say Gronk is the tight end one this week over Kelsey.
Put your ice cream where your mouth is?
Bet there, sir. Yep, for
All
sure.
right, put it on the board.
All right, close it out strong, sir.
You mean really quick? Okay, here we go. Oh, that's just
Close it out weak.
Just like my love life. Oh no.
Go out in a fury of
we are going on
mediocreness.
to the Chicago Bears at the Green Bay Packers. This is the Sunday night football game. And let's start with David Montgomery. Monty missed the week 6 meeting of these two. That's not the proper spelling of two there. Two teams, but Khalil Herbert racked up 97 yards and a touchdown against Green Bay. So I'm going to give Monty 3 3/4 stars. Green Bay is giving up a middle of the road 17.1 points per game to their RBs. On to Aaron Rodgers. He owns the Bears. So 5 stars for him. If he's getting a 5-er, then so is Devontae Adams. Much like Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, their ratings are just kind of linked together. And I'm going to give MVS, who has over the last 2 weeks has 18 targets. Yeah,
Dang.
very nice, man. So I'm going to give him 2.
That's with Cobb being healthy last week?
What's that?
I think Cobb is out this week.
He is. He just had core muscle
surgery.
surgery. Like that was like breaking news today.
Oh, he's done. He's done. Good call. Good call.
And I'm just seeing this right now, like literally on this website for the first time. My eyeballs have like appealed to this. Is that Allen Robinson is talking about coming back this week with after having a hamstring injury. So I like that, but it's probably going to be Andy Dalton for the Bears. Sorry, I'm flip-flopping between teams here, so just deal with it because I've been drinking.
Same teams in the same matchup.
I know, but still. I like structure. I like structure to my matchups. Doggone it. But it's probably going to be Andy Dalton this week, so I'm not really that thrilled with Allen Robinson. Okay. And they're also talking about Jair Alexander coming back for the Packers as well. So yeah, that's kind of that matchup right
who
there.
Do they put him on? I'm gonna put it here seriously. Who do they put Alexander on? Do they put him on Robinson? I put him on Mooney. Yeah. Now I'm not saying throw your Mooney rating down the toilet.
I didn't even give Mooney a rating because I don't care. Because Andy Dalton's their quarterback.
Really?
Yeah.
I would say 2 things. I expect Fields to start, and I'm starting Mooney over Dalton. I'm sorry.
But the only person I was going to say, and it's like because it's a tight end and whatever, is Cole Kmet, who has been getting targets and some yards. Nice. He's just like not getting a lot of touchdowns because the Bears' offense isn't scoring a lot of touchdowns. Another team that needs to fix their offensive line. Like,
yeah, yep. I mean, I thought that still had Armstead. Is Armstead hurt?
Armstead.
My bad. Wrong matchup. Continue.
I don't know what you're talking about. Chris, I was pretty much done with that matchup. I was
okay.
Cool.
We'll
tune back in. We'll tune back in on Sunday to see if Fields is playing, and if Fields is playing, I'm going to be a lot higher on Mooney and Allen Robinson and Cole Kmet. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of out on all of them. If it's going to be Andy Dalton,
oh yeah, I would think a lot of playoff teams have better options.
Yeah, well, and that's a very good point too. Is that it's like, dude, are you going to risk your playoff options on even when Allen Robinson was healthy and playing with Fields or Andy Dalton that he was hot garbage? Here, like
let me get this in real quick for our fans. Andy Dalton has a hand injury and is questionable. Fields does not have an injury designation at all.
Oh.
Just clicking on it. Yeah. So ribs.
That's what he had. He had a broken rib.
He has been cleared. This is yesterday. So broken ribs. He's been cleared to play.
Well, snap in my face, Chris.
I'm sorry. I just want to.
No, that's fine, man. That's totally in my face. My bad.
So I don't know. Mooney,
so until maybe? Sunday, you can, which we do our Sunday stream. You can.
Yeah, you'll get to hear more recent analysis.
Exactly. And I was going to try and take the show home, Chris, because it's getting late and yeah.
Sure.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. You can check us out in podcast format if you're checking us out on YouTube. If you are listening to us in podcast format, you can do the exact opposite and check us out on our YouTube channel. That is, our YouTube channel is also where you can find our Sunday morning stream. If you click on the little bell there, you get a notification when we do start the stream. But that is on 10 a.m. Central Daylight Savings Time. But Central Time, we don't know where you live or what time zone you live in. Chris does because he's a weirdo, and he knows what time zone people live. He doesn't know where they live in that time zone. He just knows which time zone that you live in. That's all he knows. He's just like, oh, you live in the Aleutian Islands time zone. That's weird, but that's where you live. Or, like you live in the China time zone because the entire country of China, at least the last time I looked, had its own time zone. Like, that's some weird dictator thing. There's like, nope, we're going to have our own time zone. Entire country, same time.
I'm sorry, the entire nation?
I believe so, yes.
Over, what the heck, man? They're huge.
It's a big country.
I mean, I understand somebody in the U.S. can make the argument it's just get rid of daylight saving times. I'm not saying I don't agree with that. I'm not saying
it's so archaic, it's ridiculous.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine. As people in California, I have no other objection to that whatsoever. But to be a nation is.
Yep, China's its own time zone. The entire country.
Not only population,
which is
not only population, but how big the country freaking is.
I'm looking at it right now.
That's the point of time. Yeah, it's like the sun, man. What are you doing?
it's probably bigger than Australia, which is in three different time zones. But did you know that the United States is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different time zones?
Oh my God, 7?
When you count 8 because it's Hawaii, the Aleutian, Alaska, the Pacific.
Is that Hawaii
Mountain,
and Cuba?
Central, Eastern, and then the very tip of Maine is in another one. Sorry, that's 7 right there. My bad.
The tip of Maine. Okay, so that's 2. I still thought there was only like 4. Anyway.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week, folks.
Aleutian,
or should I say we'll see you Sunday?
Pacific, Mountain, Central, Eastern. Alaska, it is 8. And then the very tip of Maine is in the 8th one. Yep.
So tip of Maine, Hawaii, and Alaska.
And Aleutian Islands.
I thought they're... Okay, so that's the 4 I didn't know about, apparently.
Which the Aleutian Islands are part of Alaska.
Good night, folks.
If you didn't know that.
Oh, up in the yeah, okay, now I remember. Up in the corner.
No, the very tail of Alaska, because it really tails. Anyways. Geography aside, folks, we have been Amazing Fantasy Football. Thank you for tuning in. Tune in on Sunday streams. We'll be back next Thursday with another episode. Actually, it's Fridays when they come out, but we record on Thursday nights. Until next time, everyone. Peace out.